Hi folks, Gene Hoyt here today from Crossland Game Calls. I want to share with you today a little bit about our deer hunting products. We got some calls. We have some other accessories like drag rags and wind checkers, or we got a wind guide that we call it. And we also offer a few scents, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about those today. First call I want to share with you is the wall hanger grunt tube, and I'll tell you how I apply it to my deer hunting and demonstrate for you what it sounds like. When I get to my deer stand, the first thing I do is I'll make some contact grunts on this call. And all a contact grunt is communication to other deer, letting them know that you're a deer and you're in the area. And it sounds this way. You can change the tones of these sounds on any grunt tube by adjusting the expandable grunt, the tube that's on the grunt call, in or out. And you can hear how it changes the sound of the call. Now, during the rut, a lot of times you'll see bucks chasing does, and they'll have this broken type grunt, and I'll demonstrate that for you. We call it the chasing grunt. A lot of people think bucks are doing this on purpose, but actually, in reality, what's happening is the buck is grunting as he's running, and every time his feet hits the ground, it kind of cuts his grunt off. So, in essence, it kind of gives a broken sound, and it sounds similar to this. Every time that buck's feet hit the ground, that grunt stops. Another grunt that we do a lot is what we call a tending grunt, and that's when that buck is tending that doe. Sounds this way. Starts off, with just some contact grunts. It's kind of a long, extended grunt. And now when I see a buck behind a doe or trailing a doe or even tending a doe, a lot of times I'll make that grunt and sound or do a snort wheeze to try to get that buck's attention off of that doe and let him know that, there's a rival buck in the area or somebody that's competition to him. And sometimes what that'll do is make that buck come over to investigate and you can get a shot. Second grunt call I'll share with you is one we call the no hands grunt. It's a little call that's good for bow hunters, and the call fits pretty flush in your mouth. Takes a little getting used to because the actual reed assembly fits in your mouth. And I don't recommend children use these, just adults and people who can get used to the fit of the call and the way it feels in their mouth. But it has a very realistic sound that's very effective for bow hunters. And what it does is it don't obstruct the string or the draw or release of your bow. Fits like in your mouth just like this with the reed assembly first. Best way to get used to this call is to form a good sound chamber in your mouth, and that way there's no contact by your tongue or your jaws or teeth with the actual reed, because any contact with the reed will kill the sound of the call and you won't get a sound. The next call I'll share with you is a call I talked a little bit about is the estrus bleat. Now, this call right here is really effective. A lot of people ask us at seminars, what's the most versatile call that you have? Well, it's the grunt tube. It don't matter who manufactures a call. The grunt tube is the most versatile call in anybody's deer call line. Now, estrus bleats are very effective calls during the rut when bucks are on their feet looking for does, chasing does. But there's about an 8 to a 10-day window during the rut when this is the most effective call. And it's just a call that works off gravity. You just flip it over, and it makes the sound of a doe making an estrus bleat. That's when a doe is in her estrus cycle and she's bleeding. Now, a lot of people say that this quivering grunt, you can make it with this call, but basically it's just a sound. And that basically here again is the sound when that doe is moving, running, she'll be bleeding, and that sound sounds like it's a quivering sound, but in reality it's just that the call's being broken because the doe's running. Very effective call to have in your backpack during the rut. The last call is a fawn bleat or a fawn bleating ball. We offer this call. The call used to be very popular years ago. It's still a good way to call up does. If you got a young hunter, a son, a grandson, a granddaughter, a daughter, somebody you want to get into hunting, it's a good thing to take this call, go out where you know there's a lot of does at or some does. Do the bleating ball on this call, and a lot of times them old does will come running in. It's just that maternal instinct that's built in them, and they'll come running in to see what's got that young fawn, a coyote, a bobcat, or something like that, and to try to protect that doe or try to fend off that predator. But it sounds this way, and it's very loud, and it's a very effective call if you where they got a lot of does at. And it's just a pleading type sound that, like I say, really triggers that maternal instinct in adult does. The next thing I'd share with you to put in your deer hunting arsenal is a little product that we've come out with, and pretty much any company has one. It's called the Wind Guide. And you can see this one here is kind of tarnished and cracked up. It's been in my backpack for quite some time. But it's just a wind checking device. You shake it up, give it a little puff, and it'll tell you which way at all times the wind's blowing. And if you hunting trophy bucks or you hunting big bucks or even big game of any kind, bear, elk, moose, mule deer, anything like that, predators, anything like that, it's always good to know what direction the wind's coming from. The last thing is our Trailblazer drag rag that we have here. And what we do is we like to lay scent trails when we hunting during the rut. And we'll just take the wick ends of this Trailblazer drag rag we have, and we'll dip it down in a bottle of our Fatal Attraction doe estrus urine, and or either dip it down in a bottle of our dominant buck urine, old mossy horns we call it. And sometimes we'll use 2 of these, and we'll lay a double trail like a buck's trailing a doe, and it just really kind of gives the hunt a sense of realism. And many times when we lay scent trails with these Trailblazer drag rags, a buck will come across that trail and then just follow it right to our stand. You can find any of our deer hunting products by going to www.crosslandcalls.com.